welcome to Learning Pro Intros. I'm Nicole Papiano from Your Instructional Designer, and I'm here today with Derek Brezette. Derek, can
Hello.
you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah. I'm an instructional designer presently at RPA, which is an advertising agency based in Santa Monica, and my job consists of it's multifaceted. So some of the work that I do is client related for one of RPA's major clients, American Honda Motors. And then the other aspect of my job over the past year and a few months has been to, in partnership with one of the VPs, to develop and grow an internal training for all RPA associates. And so that has been sort of built from the ground up, and it's been a lot of fun. So for those, we just create web-based trainings. We moved the in-person trainings to a web-based version, which just helps with efficiency across the agency and allows users, obviously, allows associates to take the trainings in their own time, and they're a little bit more engaging, and we try to make them fun and reflect the RPA voice, which is much more of a fun voice too. So,
Do you have a favorite training that you've had to create for them?
yes, actually. Well, they've all been very fun. So we've done some software trainings. So the first one we did, which was to kick this off, is to take Microsoft Office tools and create a web-based version of that. That was very large scale. And more recently, and just in time, just ahead of the situation that we're all going through now, is we created a Teams meeting training. And that one was a lot of fun. I get to just, sprinkle in some humor throughout, and then also create some simulations and so it's been fun. So I would say the Teams meetings.
The Teams meetings?
Yeah, as lame as that sounds, you say, oh, that was really fun, but you get to do some animations and just have some fun with people as you're recording the meetings, and then editing it down and then putting it out in the web-based version. It is actually more fun than it sounds.
I mean, it sounds fun to me, but I'm also kind of nerdy, so
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
the people.
Well, yes, and that's very much an apt description of me as well. So, yeah.
Well, the folks watching will have to decide what level of nerdiness excites them.
Yeah.
So, did you always know you wanted to be an instructional designer?
Oh, no. I mean, I didn't even know that this thing existed, right? So I taught high school and a little bit of college, and that was for 10 years out of after graduating from college. So it was mostly I wanted to be a classroom teacher, which I did, and then sort of transitioned out of that and made my way into copy editing and then into instructional design, and it was sort of like a natural sort of transition, and it was just an opportune time because I think the field was growing at the time that I was moving out of the classroom instruction. So it's not something that I set out to do, but I think a lot of us just kind of walking down that road, we just kind of end up here. Yeah.
And I think, I get questions from teachers actually all the time. How did you become an instructional designer? How did you make that shift? What maybe drew you to instructional design and has kept you there?
What drew me to it, I would say, was just exploring what was out there with my background and outside of public education, and then from there, it's just been an interesting evolution to see like what the possibilities are, and there's sort of more possibilities to expand on what it was doing in the classroom, and creating sort of engaging lessons. So now here it's rather than creating an engaging lesson that would be in person, now you get to work with more various tools, right? So when we talk about creating a simulation, that's like different than what we would typically do perhaps in the classroom where you just have to answer some multiple choice questions. Well, now you can use this technology to actually have them apply what they've learned in a different way. And then also, you just create these, you put a lot of work into these things in the front end, and then they have like a longer shelf life than perhaps just your one-off classroom lesson, which isn't to denigrate in any way classroom lessons. I still love that aspect of it. But there's just this is just like another tool that is that technology has allowed us to explore and expand on.
Yeah, I definitely can see how that works. So I'll just ask you one other follow-up about that. Is there one thing in the whole instructional design sphere that you like love doing the most?
I think I like getting the content and then thinking of ways to take maybe what was more static content and making it more engaging. What opportunities there are to make this to create a simulation? Is it even possible? Is there, because coming into some of my current work where it would be, I keep using this word simulations because I'm very big on that, I think. So that's kind of like my favorite tool, as opposed to asking, a standard multiple choice question about how you do something. Is there an opportunity to actually have them in some way within this we're still in two-dimensional computer screen, but is there a way to make this interactive that would more closely approximate what they're going to actually need to do? Because that's better than just asking a question about what's the second step in this. Well, you can actually just do the steps. And so I think that finding ways to make it, to add simulations and make it engaging and fun is like the most fun part. Like that's kind of at the outset. Then, the actual nuts and bolts, that can be a bit of a grind, but then actually the final step of authoring the content in whatever sort of platform you're going to use, that becomes like more fun again because you kind of get to see it come to life.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So we're going to say simulations are really fun to design,
Yeah.
and seeing them come to life is definitely the most rewarding part of the job. Probably not when you're
Yes.
slogging through all of the SME interviews and all the fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not that level of nerd yet. I would think I would agree. The creating part is a little bit more fun than the breakdown part.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So before we head out, I wanted to ask if there is one piece of advice that you could give new or aspiring learning professionals, whether they're instructional designers or not. What would that be?
Okay, my piece of advice for people getting into this field would be to just constantly looking for ways to explore and expand on what your content offerings are, and looking for ways to just increase engagement, and never being afraid to kind of create new work and new proposals. So, it wasn't where your role may be sort of clearly defined as one thing, but if you are out there and you're looking at other tools and techniques and strategies that are out there, and then you're developing a sort of proposal, whether that's an internal proposal or an external proposal for how to do that, or to bring those strategies into what your current content offering is. That's extremely important, and it's going to be good for you. And then along with that is never being afraid to create a short demo. That really helps to sell people on these new ideas. And if you can't make the demo, find a way to maybe hack it and show sort of an example of how it would look. So recently we did that with augmented reality. We obviously couldn't create an augmented reality, but we just kind of faked it, showed how it would look in a video, short video. It was 30 seconds long, but you can kind of use Premiere Pro as
Hmm.
the tool that we use, but you can kind of create these demos. But so it's really just being out there and looking for ways to expand um, sort of upon what you're currently doing and what your current role is, and that's always good. It's always appreciated.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think not only did you mention the explore part, which is really important, but the way you've shown people how to like bring it to the table, because as learning designers, we think everything is cool, but it's the people sort of who are going to fund that experiment that you usually have to convince.
Yes. Yeah. And, there's so many ways. There's obviously, a lot of online sources, learning solutions, and that sort of thing. Like there's, these sources. And then there's, these conferences that you can attend. Those are always really, really helpful. Sometimes they're limiting in how much you're going to be able to access those because they can sometimes be cost prohibitive, but as much as possible, they're really great. And then they have, free resources too. And again, along with the developing the demo and selling people who may not be familiar with this, like we think everything is cool. If you think it really is cool and you think it's going to have a benefit, look for presenting it as a problem solution. Here's the problem, and here's how this new idea is going to solve that, and here's what it would look like. Like those three things, like when you're trying to pitch, those are great. And I know those are common tips too, but never hurts to hear it again.
No, it definitely
Yeah,
doesn't. And even if it feels like common sense, it definitely is not always common sense, or, you get trapped sort of in putting out all the fires and forget that you can have this bigger influence. So I think
yeah,
that's really important and really valuable advice.
yeah.
Is there anything else you'd want to say before we sign off here?
Oh, just I think it's if you're exploring this field, it's pretty fun and it's pretty rewarding, and there's so many opportunities to kind of create more out of it. Again, just kind of looking back at my time in RPA, so there's the sort of the opportunity to just kind of create something that even wasn't there in partnership with somebody who was also looking to do the same thing. You just kind of find those people and you can create something, outside of the narrow confines of your role. And that's kind of what's cool about instructional designers is that, there's so many, it's not so narrow and you wear a lot of hats. You can do a lot of things. You can do the writing, you can do the editing, you can do the recording, like so many things. And that's kind of cool. It's like a lot of variety and it kind of keeps your day interesting. So
Definitely. I feel motivated. I like want to go work on a new project right now.
that's
But
kind.
thank you so much for joining me today, Derek. And if you want to learn more about Derek and what he does, there's some more information in the description box below. Otherwise, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Of course. Have a good one.
Bye.